I stand before you this morning to give a very emotional speech. I stand before you because 52 years ago, a man and a woman came together, the perfect union of my mother and my father. 23 chromosomes from Virginia Mary, combined with 23 chromosomes from William Charles, to create me, a 46 chromosome healthy human who they named Brenda Ellen. I've passed this around. 1951, the marriage of my parents in Hoboken, New Jersey. This is my parents, Virginia and Bill Nason. So I'm giving an icebreaker speech. And unlike traditional icebreaker speeches that start at the beginning and take you to the present, I'm going to start at the year 2000 and work my way back in time. Now, the year 2000 was a sad year, but it was an important year in my life. I received a call on my birthday, July 13th, from my brother. Brenda, Mom's sick in the hospital, please fly home. And so I got on a plane on July 14th, went straight to the hospital, my entire family there, 4 brothers and sisters, my father, and my mother. And she was awake. She was bright-eyed and smiling. She had a great smile. And she said a few words, and then a few hours later, she went to sleep. And on July 15th, she passed on to the heavens. Now, I share that story with you as a positive because my mother waited for me. I was the only child who had left. Everybody else was in New Jersey. I was in Colorado. My mother waited for me to get there and see me and say goodbye. And I was surrounded by her love and all my family. So that was 2000. And then 2003, my father passed away from the same illness, lung cancer. So that's where they ended. But let's talk about the goodness and the wonderful times I had with them for 3 decades. The 1990s were a wonderful decade with my parents. I call it my adventurous, seeking bold activity decade. And my mother loved it, and here's why. She retired in 1992 at the age of 62. And at that point, I was in the military, and I was moving all over the country with various jobs. So every place I moved was an excuse for my mother to come visit. The funniest story is when my parents came to visit me in Arkansas. This is 1995, and I'm living in Bentonville, Arkansas at the Walmart headquarters. It's near the Missouri border. So this was before cell phones, and I didn't know when my parents were coming per se, but I knew they were on their way in the car. And I come home from work one day, and there's my dad's car in my driveway. Unexpected, wasn't ready, the house wasn't prepped. But my dad showed up with my mom, and they're in the back porch, just kicked back, drinking beer with the cooler. And it was just a fun time. We had a great trip. We went to Branson, Missouri, and saw Johnny Cash and June Carter. And my parents were in heaven. They're big country fans. So my parents enjoyed visiting me, Colorado, San Francisco, and that was a wonderful time. Now, the 1980s was a time where I learned from them some values of hard work, strong work ethic. That's where I went to school. And I studied, and they encouraged me. They came to my soccer games. They came to my orchestra. And that's where I learned from them hard work. And I realized that my mother, as a janitor, saved her money, and I was the first child that she sent to college. 1980s were an important decade. Now, the 1970s is where I learned the value of patriotism and trust. I was a child growing up. My parents never talked about politics, but they instilled in me the values that I have today. And as I take stock of myself and where I come, I realized that my father, who was an Army veteran and joined the VFW, instilled in me the importance of your country and honor and duty. My mother, who had a hearing impairment, read a lot, so she taught me the importance of reading. She wasn't accipitarian, but she enjoyed showing me words and taught me how to learn words and read. So my point of this morning is, as we do icebreakers and share about each other, it's most important to remember and reflect where we came from and who our parents are and what they gave to us. And the union of Virginia Mary and William Charles to make me and my brothers and sisters is a beautiful thing. And in my 25 years at Toastmasters, all of my best speeches have been about my mother and my father.